Behind every great result, there's a story of innovation and collaboration.
There's a lot more collaboration between our customer and us, and it's because we can share data.
Our Prophecy software customers aren't just clients, they're partners in progress. For more than 20 years, we've worked with you to accelerate the digital revolution and drive real results within your industrial operations.
The software takes production data and used to make sure that machines, operators, and managers are able to make the right decisions at the right time.
Prophecy isn't just a tool, it's the engine driving your success forward, and the solution enabling your enterprise to decrease costs, increase profits, reduce waste, improve efficiency, and much more.
The data's in the Prophecy system.
But it's not just about the numbers, it's about the people. Together, we empower teams, accelerate innovation, and drive toward a future that's brighter, more sustainable, and more profitable than ever before. We invite you to experience the power of smart and sustainable operations with Prophecy from GE Vernova.
So, welcome to everyone today. Thanks for joining. I'm Ben Latham, and I'm the Director of the Solution Provider Program in the EMEA. I'm joined today by a few key people from the organization that are really integral to our program, and they can be valuable resources to our members who engage and grow with the GE Vernova Prophecy software program. I can't miss the opportunity to highlight a very recent change. For those of you with a keen eye, you'll see the name Paul Adams here. He has rejoined GE Vernova this month. He's based in the US, and he's a direct replacement for Tim Ogden, who retires at the end of this month. So we want to extend a heartfelt thanks to Tim for his contributions, but wish him all the best as he enters the next chapter of his life. And at the same time, give a warm welcome to Paul, who I'm sure will be connecting with many of you soon as he ramps up. The intent of today's session is to introduce for the new members here, or a refresh for established members, of the GE Vernova Prophecy Solution Provider Program. By the end of it, you should understand why partners are so key to us, and how we work with our clients and some of the resources available to partners who grow in our program. So we're investing in our partnerships, so the more you put in, the more you can get out. Just quickly cover this agenda before we go through some housekeeping. First up, we've got Steve Pawlowski. He's our VP of Product Management, and he'll talk about GE Vernova's Prophecy software and services, so you can be aware of our strong presence, why you're so important to us, and ultimately how you become better aligned with our mission. I'll go through the mission of the Solution Provider Program, the cornerstones, an overview, and how to be distinguished among your peers, along with a few facts and figures and ways to stay connected with us and the outside world. Then we've got Mike, who is super critical, and he'll tell us all about the training so you can become better equipped to either onboard new employees, upskill existing ones, and stand out in the marketplace, but ultimately to be able to deliver more efficiently and successfully for our mutual clients. Then we'll finish with Will, who heads up the business consulting team globally. He can tell us about his team, how we show value to our clients, and how his teams are engaging with solution providers more and more. So a couple of bits of housekeeping quickly. You should see some interactive bubbles on your screen. So we've got the orange chat bubble. You can submit questions throughout the session. We'll have time at the end to answer them. So please feel free to ask away. The purple button, you can connect with myself for more information on the Solution Provider Program. We've got a blue paperclip icon where there's several additional resources, including some links to things that we will talk about today. And then there's the person button where you can connect with the presenters. And then the orange question mark where you can access any technical assistance that you might need throughout the session. But also just be reminded that if you hit refresh, that does tend to fix a lot of problems. and then the pink clipboard icon, which is a feedback survey. And we really, really appreciate everyone's feedback. If you get the chance, then please take the time to fill that out. Finally, a reminder that today's session is going to be recorded, and the recording and the slides and supporting information will be sent out via email. So please look out for that as we move forward. So with that, let's dive in, and I'll hand over to Steve.
Thank you, Ben. Great to be with this audience today. I'm really proud of what we've done with the Prophecy platform, really delivering a set of application software to help our customers solve challenges, along with the flexibility that we give to you and to our customers around how they deploy that software. So we've made big strides towards moving from traditional on-premises offerings to cloud-based, inclusive of SaaS-based offerings, really helping our customers take advantage of the technology in new ways. And that's resulted in GE Vernova and the Prophecy portfolio being identified as for example, a leader by Gartner, but also 3 or 4 other industry analysts really have recognized what we've done with the Prophecy portfolio, and our customers are recognizing it too. The Prophecy Smart Factory Suite is the most highly ranked MES product in the Gartner Peer Insights right now. So just great feedback from the analyst community, from our customers, in terms of how we're helping them solve their manufacturing challenges. And that's across a wide suite, and that suite has become wider recently. We started out in the HMI SCADA business. I actually started in this business 38 years ago. I was the first application engineer in the company for the Simplicity HMI SCADA software application. So for nearly 4 decades, we've been helping customers manage their production, enabling operators to make better decisions. World-class MES software focused on a variety of process, hybrid process, and discrete applications being delivered traditionally to customers as an on-premises solution, but now available as a SaaS-based offering. A world-class process historian. And really, we've started to incorporate, and I'll talk a bit more, and really bring forward our AI and ML technology. We've had a product in the portfolio, C-Sense, for a number of years. And we have some customers that take great advantage of that technology, and some system integrator partners, solution provider partners that are well-versed in helping customers optimize elements of their production process using C-Sense. So this is a particular area where I think you should, over time, think about investing in training and education on the C-Sense product, because we can deliver huge benefits with you to our customers. And most recently, in December, we closed the acquisition of Robex scheduling. And so while we'd had a partnership with Robex for many, many years, we made the decision that production scheduling needed to be a core component of the Prophecy suite, and so we made that change. And our whole goal, whether it's across the entire portfolio, our goal is really a combination of sort of what I'll call digital operations, right? How do we help our customers leverage the data that their equipment produces to make better decisions, to keep their operations running more efficiently? Like that's what we're about. And actually, as we were doing the scheduler acquisition, right, their sort of mantra was really all about delivering manufacturing productivity to customers. They just came at it from a different technology perspective. So look, we do this with you, our solution providers, right? Most of our end customers don't have the expertise or the manpower to deploy these solutions. And across the tens of thousands of customers that we do business with. So you're a key element in terms of helping bring this world-class technology to solve the problems that our customers face. When I look at the suite of software that we have today, it's frankly wildly different from where we were 3 or 4 years ago, right? The prophecy of the past was a portfolio of distinct applications that were great at solving particular customer use cases, but they weren't integrated. And that's very different from where we are today. We have a tightly integrated portfolio of solutions that share common infrastructure, common user authentication and identity management, a common administrative portal called Configuration Hub, a common user experience operations hub. We've started to build in to all of the products, so whether it be HMI SCADA or Historian or the MES product, we've started delivering the cSense runtime and building in specific models that customers can take advantage of. So for example, in the HMI SCADA, a customer buying a license today receives a cSense runtime and some models that could help with sensor health, could help with alarm pattern recognition. The next version of our SaaS-based MES solution that will launch later this year, the 2025 version, will have a model for predictive downtime and true root cause analysis. And so we've really taken the capabilities of the portfolio, brought them together into a common integrated architecture, and are leveraging the power of AI and ML across the portfolio while allowing you to work with customers to build bespoke analytics to solve their particular use cases. So really proud of what we've done with the portfolio and how we're making it easier for you to bring integrated solutions to our customers. And that sort of turns us into to a discussion of the ecosystem, right? We're clearly responsible for listening to customers, listening to you in terms of what the needs are of our customers and bringing a world-class product suite to market. But it takes an ecosystem to be able to bring this technology. So we've got the solution provider program. I know Mike will talk about training and Ben will talk more about the program. We've got distribution partners and resellers globally, thousands and thousands of customers that leverage our technology and leverage your expertise in terms of deploying that technology. So really, a global ecosystem that takes all four elements to be able to bring this world-class production optimization to our customer base. And so hope that sort of gave you a great little view as into where we think the suite is today. I know there are other webinars that we've got out there talking about the roadmap and what's coming. So I encourage you to watch those. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Ben, who's going to focus on the program.
Thanks, Steve. And hopefully everyone can see me. I was just wanted to thank Steve for that. It's really powerful to have our leadership investing in our partner network. So when I was thinking about what to share today and on many other occasions, I thought we start with the vision that we have. And as Steve alluded to there with AI, it's impacting a lot of our lives and even our software vision, but I actually used AI as well to help me generate this statement. So it's really proving invaluable. Our vision, it's not just based on numbers of integrators. We talked about the global ecosystem we have there, but it's about building the skills in our networks. None of us can do this alone, so building a collaborative environment is critical, as is sharing the tools and the knowledge that we have. And this is how our program is designed to help our partners grow with us. There's a quote that I found recently that fits well, and I like to say is that if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And that's really our guiding principle in everything that we do. this is when we came up with the cornerstones of the program. So what's available to members as they grow and develop with GE Vernova? Well, as I think you'd expect, all the development tools are included as part of your membership. The resources online for products, architecture, technical support area that the partners have access to. Competency and knowledge, you'll hear a lot more about what we have on learnings, but we have learnings on our core products as e-learning, as well as offers on instructor-led training, all to help you, be better with our software. Then, from a business development perspective, as we develop our relationships, we can work closer with our business consultants, potentially the customer success management organization, and even the project teams and the sales account manager teams as well. We want to be able to go jointly to enhance each other and win bigger projects. So when we developed the program framework, it's because we want a program that partners can grow with. So we created 3 tiers, and we evaluate each partner based on those 4 pillars on the left. So it becomes, truly two-way development based on the relationships, so how we work together, and links to each other's organizations, which then couples with engagement and how we partner and collaborate, which in turn will increase the experience of our partners with our new technology and what's coming, even to be able to take customers on a journey. And then we have projects which ultimately should lead to greater sales impact. But we recognize that each organization has different specializations and they focus in different areas. So to define our partners again further, we do have 2 technology segments so that you can take 2 different learning paths. And these technology segments, coupled with the tiered program, are here to provide some flexibility to the system integrators like yourselves on how they want to partner with GE Vernova. As I just talked about there, partners that have different specializations. So we've created different learning paths. As I mentioned, there's the learnings for each product in our core portfolio, and we're constantly developing those. But it's there to help you take that journey with your clients. So I use an example of partners who have always delivered SCADA, but they may want to expand into being able to bring that data to the business, as Steve talked about, and creating powerful visualizations. And ultimately, they mean that they can put the data from that client and they can put that data to work. Now, each product and training has its own certification. Certified individuals and companies can be recognized as such by GE Vernova. There's the logos at the bottom of the screen. But if you take multiple certifications, we also provide a technology certification, either for industrial automation or for manufacturing execution, depending what your company focuses on the most. I'll touch a bit more on how to make use of that later. Next, I just want to dive into some statistics where our active members are leaning into the program. So full membership is ramping up. This is where our solution providers have officially signed up to the program, and this has grown tremendously to over 90%. We'd love to get everyone there, but also we'd love them to create a partner finder profile. There'll be a link shared about how to do that. It's a very simple process, but it's a key benefit to our members to be showcased by us, the vendor, and to the outside world. And again, I'll show that again later as well. One of the key benefits and our goal is to have as many trained people as possible. So as you can see, we're focusing on how many courses are taken here. This is instructor-led training or e-learning and online courses, and it's growing continually as we push and update our training and then we improve the visibility. There's 1,300 plus courses taken already in 2025. And then training drives certifications, which is what we just talked about. This trend is also going fantastically well, but it's more than a certification though, more than a tick box. Recently, a Gartner report talks about how customers select partners. So they look at the references that they've got, they look at the industry verticals that they work in, but they then look at vendor certification in the products. So it's critical to be able to show this to your clients, and it's why we're offering it as a key benefit to our partners. And today we're well over 1,300 product and technology certifications. So as you complete them, We do check this, but feel free to let us know as well. We can update the profile that's visible to everyone online, and you can make use of the logos to showcase this in marketing material or your websites as well. And again, as we speak, there's nearly 200 more already in 2025. And then before I finish, before I hand over, I just thought I talked about a lot of things there, and I just wanted to summarize some of the things that we're doing and we have in place, system integrators, with the aim of giving you information regularly, but also enabling you and your teams to be as self-service as you can be, so you get the right things to the right people at the right time. The fact you're on this webinar now is great. Please do encourage others in your organizations to ensure they sign up for updates. And while I just look at this slide now in no particular order, some things that you will be seeing coming forward. We're using a system called Seismic, which is a repository for our sales data effectively. We'll have a link that you can access a lot of content, stuff that we get asked for on a regular basis, so it's available to you and your organizations instantly. Sales presentations, some product information, and even use cases, as well as past information that's happened. There's a series of webinars like today, but there's other media invitations. Steve mentioned the Prophecy 2025 release. There's a SCADA presentation right after we finish today. I really encourage you to join those as well and make sure your marketing preferences are up to date. We have a coffee with an expert in Europe and an Ask the Expert series in the US. And they're really great 30-minute sessions where we try to delve a bit deeper, but show you some innovative ways that our solutions can be used. There's the normal things like the knowledge-based portal where all the documentation is found and support. Training, you'll hear from Mike, but the curriculum on the instructor-led training, e-learning. We'll even be bringing some hands-on technical training events throughout the world coming in later in 2025, so keep an eye out for those. But also marketing. So if you've got a use case that we can publish using GE Vernova software, let us know. You've got a white paper, we can help promote it, or even a cool video on how you solve something using our software. They're all really great bits of content to share. We've got the newsletter that hopefully most of you are receiving, and we're aiming to do that every other month. But in the middle of the newsletters, there's a LinkedIn group as well. And this is where we can hopefully help to keep in touch and share with you what's happening on a more regular basis. Finally, my biggest push, as I mentioned in this previous slide, is our partner finder. Now, we see this as a benefit to our program, is being visible to the world and being able to point your customers to a page that's verified by us, the vendor, that shows your skills and expertise. It's a real simple process to get set up using the link that we can share. But as you take certifications, if you look on the right there, this is what people can see in your profile. So we update them. If you have a use case, we publish it here as well. And as I mentioned, this is what our clients and your clients are looking for from partners to prove that you're the right partner for them. Now, I'll be available for questions at the end, so please reach out and let us know anything, or reach out to me afterwards. But for now, I'll hand over to Mike, who can talk about the training available and what's coming up.
Thanks, Ben. Welcome, everyone. Good day to everybody. I just wanted to introduce our team quickly for the people who might be joining new or have not spoken with us in a while. Over the years, we've done all sorts of different training in different places, different ways. And I kind of wanted to summarize everything for you so you can see what we're providing now. Most everything we have is accessible to you through our online learning platform. It's a public platform, requires an account, but once you have that account, most of the content that you find inside is available as an entitlement as part of the solution provider program. So please take advantage of it. It's multiple modalities of delivery that we have there. Some of it's self-paced and some of it obviously event-based. So through that site, you can register and enroll in the training and then take it at your own pace for things like mobile and e-learning training, concepts, terminology, that kind of thing. Video learning, where it's very much more how-to. You follow along, you can see walkthroughs, you can see descriptions of how to work through different processes and things like that. Again, this is as from the configuration point of view, not just from a user's point of view, but definitely for someone in your line of work, where you're configuring the solutions. We have a new modality that's been very popular in the last year and a half, especially with this audience. It's called self-directed hands-on, and it starts with the install of a local demo. So you can install that locally to your machine or into a VM and work with the software. It's multi-hour, multimedia type training. So a bit of reading, bit of following steps, but also lots of video to help you understand the software and how to configure it. And by the end of it, usually it's about a 4 or 5 course series. You have many of the tangible skills that you need to actually configure, administer, and extend the system for your customers. Obviously, the badge exams are also at this site. This is where you can enroll at no charge to take an exam. They're quite difficult, but for the most part, they are based on all the content that you would find at the site. So if you work your way through the training, you'll be well prepared for those badge exams. And then finally, we have instructor-led events throughout the year. Literally every week we're running events. We have 150 different events scheduled this year around the planet. And these are delivered by certified instructors. Almost all of them are delivered in this format, sort of as a web conference or working together online. We do still do in-person training. It's a little harder to find, and it's not as honestly as popular, especially for this audience. So it's enrollable and registrable from the site, just alongside all this other training. So when you visit there, you have all these different ways of interacting with the training. Most of it is progressive, so that you can work from a beginner status all the way up through to advanced. And the courses are built into series to help you do that. To that point, I wanted to really update everybody on a lot of the progress we've made this year with revising and adding content to our curriculum. So far in Q1, we've added just over, I think it's like 25 courses. It's an incredible amount of growth for our team. Some of these are direct replacements for previous series, so using the newer versions of the solutions. A lot of it's new, brand new, net new. So starting with the Simplicity HMI SCADA 5-part series that we have that is hands-on, self-directed, again, installing the local demo in a VM and working from there. It's a mix of e-learning video and student guides, so you can work through lab exercises, completely self-directed, no instructor required, no start date, no end date. It's really at your own pace. And you can see the different courses listed there. Obviously, we're going through most of the steps required to build a standalone application. We have revamped our Prophecy Common Licensing course. Licensing in this day and age is incredibly demanding, mostly because of the different environments that we are required to license in. We still have the standalone SCADA scenarios standalone software scenarios where you're literally licensing one machine. But obviously some of the larger customers and larger applications of our software are requiring us to move, multi-nodal networks, multi-networks, cloud even. So there's a lot more that's required there. So even if you've taken the licensing course in the past, maybe get a refresher with the new courses available. Prophecy CSANS has seen significant investment by our team in the last quarter. We have released 2 series. One is a mix of e-learning and video, which is more of a get to know the technology, understand the case studies and the use cases for it, and become familiar with CSense as a solution. The second part being actually working with the solution. Again, self-directed hands-on, install the software, install some of the templates and work through them. So these 2 work together. I would recommend obviously the getting smart first and the basics second, but it's definitely, if you've got some experience with CSense in the past, you can go straight to one or the other and work through them as you need to. So that's 9 new courses for CSense for you to sort of bone up on some of our analytics and ML. Coming soon in the next, I would say, next 6 to 8 weeks, we have a number of different series. We've got a 5-part series on prophecy and cloud. This is not going to make you a cloud certified engineer, but it will get you working with some of the transition that's required in the future for cloud technologies, especially as it applies to prophecy. We do go over the different technologies that are required and introduce you to them, but it's also a good backgrounder for some of the clients you may have if you want to work them through just sort of some of the preparation steps that they're going to need for things that come along later, like Historian for Cloud and Smart Factory for Cloud. Prophecy Scheduler, our recent addition. There's an e-learning series that should be coming out in the next week or two that will introduce you to the solution and work through all the way through to advanced topics on it. It's not at this point hands-on. There's another series coming later where we'll be doing that as well. And then finally, we've got a sort of a rapid fire update of different series that we've got. One is a new executive series, which is really like an executive summary of each solution, really meant for like a 5-minute backgrounder on what the solution is and does, what its worth is. And then we have Operations Hub and Historian also covered in new Getting Smart series. These were actually released earlier this week, so they're already available on our platform. Just to reiterate something that was shown on an earlier slide by Ben, this is the same site where you take the training is where you take the examinations for the Builder badges. We are looking at expanding our Builder badge and further badge program a little bit this year. We're working through the details and all the work that's required to build up the question pools and everything like that. But just to sort of reiterate to everybody, we have automation and MES Builder badges already. Current exams are iFix, Simplicity, Historian, and Operations Hub. Those Historian and Operations Hub are dual purpose. Obviously, they work in MES as well when you add it to plan applications. The exams are based on the training. They also, if you have experience with the product, that definitely comes into benefit for sure when you're writing the exams and whatnot. But it is a fairly serious exam. It's usually about an hour in length. So it's something that you definitely want to have as some focus and concentrated effort, maybe some preparation for before you come to it. We will have a CSETS Builder badge coming soon. I expect there will also be a Scheduler badge that follows. But for now, the CSETS Builder badge is the one that's closest in, and you should see that in the upcoming quarter. With that, I'm going to pass it over to Will Doherty, who will talk a little bit more about the business consulting team.
Hey, thanks, Mike. Hope everyone can hear me. My name is William Doherty. I'm glad to be here this morning with everyone. I lead the manufacturing business consulting team. So we're a global team of kind of technology leaders who really focus on the Prophecy portfolio. And we're really here to help you be successful. So let me go to the next slide here and kind of show you a little bit about what our team is focused on and how to kind of engage with our team. So in the past, you might have known us as solution architects or application engineers. We're calling ourselves the manufacturing business consulting team now because a lot of people are asking about how they can really impact their business as they go to new modern technologies like cloud and things like that. So really kind of these discussions are not just technical anymore. They're more around, how can I use these products to improve my business, and how can I leverage new technologies to improve my business? So some of the things that we're really focused on is helping you win new projects. So if you're working with a customer who might want to expand their portfolio, might want to migrate into some modern things, might want to expand to other sites, things like that, we can certainly help by, giving presentations to the customer with you. We can prep you so you can give presentations and demos of these new technologies. Next thing here, we can also help you spec new projects. So if you're going through and you say, well, someone's interested in doing this, adding SCADA over here or putting an enterprise historian in, we can kind of go through and help say, okay, this is the license you need. Here's the computers that you would need. Here's some different things that you might want to think about for this project to help you kind of put together a whole project proposal with the services side from yourselves, but also with the licenses and the computers and things like that. Another thing that we really do focus on, like Mike was saying, the amount of training content we have is amazing. But sometimes there are things like new products that have just come out and we don't have that training content there yet, or you're looking for something very specific that the standard training classes don't have. We're there to help you with that. So if you're like, hey, I really need to learn REST APIs, or I need to learn Node-RED, or we're connecting up to an ERP system, and there's something like that, we can help you kind of learn some of the new products and some of the new ways to use them. So that's there. We're also here to help you implement projects. So if you kind of get into a project and you're like, hey, I want to start using the modeling capability in iFix, we can help you kind of understand how you can get an existing iFix project and kind of start incorporating the modeling side of that into that project to help you kind of deliver a more modern solution to your customer. One thing about our team is a lot of them, some of them have been here for 15, 20 years, so they do know all of our old versions of everything else. But what we do spend a lot of time focusing on is the newer products and the newer features in those products. So we really are kind of forward looking. So as soon as something comes out, our team grabs a hold of it, figures out how we can use it, starts pulling together some content about, how that works. So that's really a good place to kind of engage with our team, is saying, hey, I see this new thing in OpsHub, or I see this new modeling capability in iFix, or I see some new analytics. How can I start incorporating that into projects? A couple of things, just what we're not is the business consulting team, we're not tech support. So if you're having an error message, there's still a great tech support system out there that we have that you can email and you can set up cases in. And the other thing is that we're not a services organization. So we don't have any way of billing for our time. So, like if someone's like, hey, I just need someone to help me with this project for a week, that's also not something that we do. So really thinking about, the sweet spot is helping you win new projects, helping you spec projects, helping you learn new products is really where our team can focus and highlight and help you grow your business. The other thing, we have a global team here. Just so you know, I put some names on here, but really the idea is we have a group in the Americas. If you are, we have people in Brazil and Mexico, and then also in the US. In Europe, we have people, quite a few over in the UK, but also in the Netherlands and Germany. We have some people over in Dubai also. So, and then in Asia, because of the language and cultural and travel stuff there, we kind of have people selected in our major markets, right? So we have people in India, we have people in China, we have people in Korea, Japan, and Australia that cover the Asian market. So I think if you are doing projects in a certain area, like Brazil or something else, you might know Casio really well. If you are, in Europe, you might know some of the European team. But again, we have a global team here who's here to support you. And another thing here, just to kind of give you an idea, Steve went over the portfolio, Mike kind of highlighted a lot of it on with the training content. But if you think about it, like what we've been doing with our portfolio over the last 5 to 10 years is really we're modernizing that portfolio and we're unifying it. So if you think about, if you think about the ISA structure and things like that, like you have all of your machines and your sensors and your connectivity through PLCs. We don't make any PLC hardware, we don't make sensors and things like that, but we do connect to them. So where we really focus on is in this middle software space around SCADA, Historian, right, to store all that sensor data that's coming in, and then MES capabilities, manufacturing capabilities. So basically saying, if I'm in a utility, like a water plant or wastewater plant or a hydro site that produces electricity or, an electric grid, things like that, you might not have this, but if I'm in a manufacturing plant, I need that SCADA layer, but then I also need that MES layer that says, I'm going to go make this order on this machine. And then after I finish making it, I want to measure it to make sure that it's actually, the product is within specification. And then I want to put a barcode on it and ship it out, right? So all of that MES capability is in here also. And then the other side of it that we don't do is we don't do the business side. So we don't do the warehouse management, we don't do the maintenance systems, and we don't do the business ERP, enterprise resource planning part of it either, but we do talk to those systems. So the idea is we really make software that sits in the middle here that allows people to, either help out with their utility customers or to help out with their manufacturing customers. And then when we talk about unifying this, Steve Pawlowski mentioned, we now have a one, way to authenticate. So you can now set up a user once, and instead of having to set them up for SCADA, Historian, and MES, you can actually just set up your user once, tie them to Active Directory, and then actually have them get permissions across all of the portfolio. So that's like one way that we're unifying this. And then for modernizing, really what we've got here is we talk about it, a lot of things around like this, we actually have the same, the same products. You can actually run them on physical computers, you can run them on VMware, or you can actually start running them in the cloud now. So if people wanted to say, hey, I want a central Historian and they just want to, I don't want to buy any computers, I just want to run this in my AWS account, they can now do that. We always need integrators, even if we're in cloud or SaaS or virtualization, right? But this is just giving the customer different options for how they can actually run their software. So another thing that we've gotten into is, we really do have a mobile-first web client. So everything here is web-based. I'll be showing you that a little bit later. And then obviously, we do talk to, as we mentioned, our PLCs and our shop floor equipment, right? It could be just smart sensors via MQTT or something like that. But then also lab systems, warehouse systems, business systems. And then another thing that we did talk about is, as systems get bigger, if you have a 1,000 tag system, you can probably manage that. Once you go up to 10,000 tags, 100,000 tags, 1 million tags, now you actually need some smart analytics to kind of manage your system and help you with alarms, help you to finding out if your equipment's running well. So we basically have CSense, which kind of allows you to do AI and machine learning on your data to try and figure out, is my equipment healthy? Am I running the orders correctly? So again, as we unify this, right, it's a seamless interaction between our SCADA, Historian, and MES solutions. The other cool thing is, our solutions work well for discrete customers. So imagine you're putting together physical things, like you're assembling an iPhone or something like that. We also do well for batching. So if somebody has, I make batches of paint, right? I work well there. And then if I have a process, like an electric utility, they may run for 100 years straight, just continuous process, or a water treatment plant or a hydro site, right? Our solution works across all of these different types of industries. And then I think the other side is, sometimes you could have things that are very manual, where the operator's interacting with our software a lot. Sometimes it could be half operators and half PLCs or machines. And then sometimes our software works where, the factory or the plant is very automated and there's no one there, unless there's something wrong, that might be an unmanned site. It could be an unmanned hydro site. It could be a water treatment site that doesn't have anyone there on the weekends, but basically just to call out if there's a problem, to somebody to let them know so they can log in remotely and access that site. Another thing that we've done here to really kind of help with our mission of, enabling you, educating you, giving you access to our latest software, we actually have a public demo system that is available, that if you just go to that URL at the bottom, I think there'll be an email after this where we'll basically go ahead and send out these details again. But if you do go to that, URL in there, it's mes.gedemo.io. You should be able to log in. What we've done is for every one of our partners who are part of the system integrator service provider partnership, they all have their own credentials, so they can actually log in. And if you see here, what we have is a bunch of sample screens and sample projects. So you can actually go ahead and look at some SCADA type, examples. We have some MES or manufacturing examples. As we mentioned, we have scheduling software that helps you schedule all of your assets. So I'm going to start making, 12-ounce cherry Coke on Monday on line 2, right? You can schedule all of that stuff. And then we also just have kind of cool stuff over here where we kind of have examples of reports. And then Configuration Hub, if you haven't seen it yet, you can actually log in here and see how we have unified and modernized our portfolio. So now I can actually look at iFix projects, MES projects, Historian projects, SCADA projects, all in one configuration environment. So a lot of these things, when you click on them, you can hit Start Demo and it'll actually bring you in. And this is something that you can just kind of browse around and click around and see different things. Some of the stuff that's in here, we just have sample screens. The cool thing about this is we just have a bunch of samples to give you ideas of what you can do. The other cool part about this is you can actually go ahead and you can actually see in the back end how these screens are built. So sometimes it's really helpful to reverse engineer and say, oh, that was kind of cool. When I clicked here, this pop-up happened. How did they configure that? So not only do you have the screens, but you can see the code that allows you to see how they were built. The other thing that we have here is we actually also, so in this case, this was on the discrete side of things. So if you're making some manual physical parts, it basically, as you start the demo, we actually have a PowerPoint for, maybe our products. And then we also have a recording of someone showing a demo. So now if you wanted to kind of practice that demo or see how our software worked, you could actually go into this system and actually watch the video and look at the PowerPoints and not just have access to the demo system. And the other thing is in Config Hub, if you click on that link, you'll actually be able to see how, in this case, if you look over here, you'll see how iFix projects look in Config Hub. You'll see how Historian looks. You'll see how you can do Node-RED scripting. You'll see how you can add users. But then you'll also see for Operations Hub, you'll see all of the screens that we have. And you can actually go in and build your own screens. So in this case, you can actually go through and say, I just want to practice in the demo system building a screen up. We have data sources in there, and you can actually go ahead and practice building your screens. What we do is at the end of every month, we actually clear out all of the screens that people have built. So if you want to build something and you want to keep working on it, I would recommend doing it early in the month, just so it doesn't, if you do it on the 31st, it'll get deleted the next day. This way, we always have standard content in there, but we still allow people to go in and practice building screens and seeing how that works. So it's another feature we have. If you don't know your login credentials, or you just have questions or comments about the demo system, like, hey, I would love it if we had this kind of content, or can you do this, or can you build this, write down this email here at the bottom. This goes out to my team, and we basically are able to, send you credentials, right? And we'll basically get feedback. So if you say, hey, I tried something and it's not working, or I did this, how can I export my project? You basically can go ahead and reach our team with that email address. Some other things that my team focuses on, Ben was kind of mentioning there's hands-on technical training. So we'll be doing like 2-day sessions with our latest products to kind of give people some hands-on technical training. This is usually for stuff that's newer that wouldn't have a standard class that Mike's team develops. We're right in the process of setting up for Europe and for North America, setting up the dates and times. So you'll be seeing that coming out shortly. We also have a monthly demo system newsletter. We're always improving that demo system I highlighted. So you have a monthly newsletter that's coming out. Usually we have some key contacts at each one of our partners. If you want to get that newsletter, go ahead and send your email to that email I showed on the previous slide, and it'll include you in the newsletter. And then if you do want a portfolio update, or you want your team to know, we used to call these lunch and learns and things like that. If you wanted to have an hour and a half kind of time where we could kind of walk you through and answer some of your specific questions, just reach out to Ben and Paul, and we'll be able to schedule those. We're also adding to the calendar office hours. And the plan here is just to have these be open. So if you're working on a project and you have some questions about how to do things, we'll basically leave these as open, meetings, and we can share the screen, and you can just ask whatever questions you have. So this way, it's definitely a little easier than having to schedule time. And then, as we also mentioned, in the US, we have monthly Ask an Expert and Coffee with an Expert in Europe sessions. And really those kind of highlight something like, how is the Prophecy portfolio working in utilities? How can I start leveraging analytics? How can I go to cloud? How do you tie scheduling software, into your business systems and manage inventory? So things like that. But anyways, these are some of the different events that we kind of host, trying to raise your level of education around our portfolio and trying to make you more successful with your projects and winning new projects. So I think, I don't know, Ben, how are we doing? I think we have some time for maybe some Q&A.
We're good. We've got time for Q&A, and there's a couple of questions in there already. So firstly, thanks to all the presenters for that. Hopefully it was very interesting for everyone. Make sure you can get the most out of the program. There was, I'm just looking through a couple of the questions now, a couple of ones that I can probably take directly here. So there was one about, or there's a few about, being a certified solution provider and the logos that I showed. I've answered that to the individuals as well, but just for everyone else on the call, that if you have people that take the tests and the certifications, and if you reach out, if you're in America's Paul, if you reach out from Europe and the Middle East, if you reach out to me, then we can check that certification status and we can share those logos with you. And it's then applicable to the company, but also the individuals. So we do have examples where companies list those individuals on their own websites. So that can be useful for you as well. And we do kind of check that on a regular basis. We check if those individuals have moved companies as well, and we'd obviously reach out to you in that event. There was another one around seismic access. So with seismic, we have kind of a limitation on the number of accounts there. So what we've actually got that you will get after this is a link to seismic, which you don't need to then have login credentials for. So you don't need to worry about them being deactivated every now and again and having to reapply for them. As I showed on the slide, we have that room created. We're just working on the link that we can share with everyone. So look out for that email and share that with other people in your organization, because they don't then need to have an account signed up for that. Looking at a couple of other questions. So one, yeah, maybe Will. So you talked about the business consulting team and how you help, but they were kind of asking about how do we engage with you? How do we reach out for those things?
So I think probably if you want access to the demo system, there was an email there, which Ben, I hope will send out a follow-up email to everyone who attended to get that. And then I think if they want to schedule a one-on-one time, I think reaching out to Paul Adams in the US and then Ben to yourself in EMEA is probably the best way to get access to our team.
Yeah, and that's for opportunities or to maybe be shown the demo system if they need some help on that as well.
Absolutely, yeah. And if they want to, as I mentioned, portfolio update with a lunch and learn, or if they just want to spend that lunch and learn time getting kind of an overview of the demo system and where things are structured and what they can do, we can certainly schedule time.
Sure. Mike, maybe around training, there was a couple of questions, but one of them was around, is there any prerequisites for enrolling in training sessions, whether that be instructor-led or the e-learning?
Okay, yeah, so most of the courses do not have a prerequisite other than you have to have an account at the site. Part of getting an account at the site is making sure that you're known to us, we're known to you. There's a relationship between GE Vernova and our partners. Once that's done as part of the account request mechanism, the content's available to you however you'd like to pace yourself through it. Some of the advanced training does have a recommendation for you to take earlier training for it to be a useful session. Obviously, a lot of the training does build, so that it's fairly logical, and all of the syllabuses for the courses will tell you if there's a hard prerequisite for it. Often we have skills prerequisites, like you know how to administer a Windows operating system, you have previous experience with controls and automation and things like that. But each of the prerequisites is really just a prerequisite that we say for knowledge rather than who you are or what you're doing. Most of that's just taken care of with your account.
Perfect.
Does that help, Ben?
I think that'll answer the question, definitely, yeah. A great comment from Vadim as well. Love the idea of the lunch and learn. So yeah, reach out to Paul Adams. As I say, Tim finishes on Monday, so reach out to those guys and I'm sure they can help set that up for you. Just on something that Will mentioned earlier around project support. So again, if you find yourself in a situation where you're talking about new solutions with customers, maybe you don't have the skill sets yet, or you need some reassurance, or the customer needs reassurance from GE Vernova, the vendor. Well, we can help in that way as well. So we can actually become a kind of a subcontractor to you if you need to. You can talk to our project team. They can give you a number of hours or whatever it is to make sure that we fulfill those needs. So yeah, feel free again if you have any concerns around that. Reach out to us and we can see how we can support you. And then ultimately, you will know what to do on the next time. I think we got all the questions. Oh no, there was one more. People were asking about the how to keep updated, but I think I went through that anyway. I'd encourage everyone when we send out the email. As I said, seismic link will get to work. We will have the sign up for the solution provider program, which will get you online and you can check your marketing preferences, etc. But the LinkedIn group as well is also something that is a great way for us to keep in contact with you. And with that, oh, there was one more about the Hot U training sessions and how will that work. So I think Will mentioned it. We are in the process right now of just selecting venues and dates for those. So there will be a marketing communication that comes out where you can select the venue nearest to you, and then all the information will be in there. But as Will mentioned, there will be a kind of over 2 days. There'll be hands-on technical training, as the title suggests, and there'll be classrooms available throughout Europe and the US. So keep your eyes peeled for them. Hopefully that answers that question. And then in the interests of time, so as I mentioned before, there is a very interesting webinar about to start in a few minutes about what's new in our SCADA products in 2025. I think there's not an official 2025 release, but there is a lot of updates that are going to happen either now or throughout the year in terms of improving the speed and reliability, etc., of our SCADA products. So yeah, feel free, please make sure you join that. And I think all that's left for me to do now is just thank everyone, thank the team for presenting, thanks you all for joining, and those that are listening later. Hopefully you've seen our focus is really on the technology and our customers and our global ecosystem, which is all needed to support our partners. And feedback is always welcome. So there's the pink feedback icon, but also reach out to us if you have anything. And with that, I'll say goodbye and hopefully see you soon on the next of our series. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Ben.